What was that experience like for you, being there and seeing so many refugees fleeing Ukraine?
It was unbelievable. I tried to prepare myself, but there's nothing that can prepare you for seeing so many children so traumatized. In about an hour, I saw thousands and thousands and thousands of children, babies, toddlers, lots of mothers. And it was chaos, like you just prayed, Terry. It was pure chaos. Children screaming, children not being able to speak because they're so severely traumatized. Some of them have been walking for 5 days, 6 days on foot to the border. Some of them came from Odessa, which was the other side of Ukraine, all the way to the Polish border by foot. I don't even know how many miles that is. One of the biggest privileges of my life so far was being able to make a bottle of milk for a 1-year-old that hadn't had any milk for a week. And being able to make that bottle, I will never, ever forget that moment. And looking in that mother's eyes as she held her baby and realizing, oh, I'm in safety. We had tents along the border, supporting these mothers, supporting these children. Lots of people were so exhausted, they couldn't walk any further. As soon as they saw that border, as soon as they saw that safety, they just collapsed into these beds, these camp beds. And as we went into the warehouses that are housing tens of thousands of refugees, it was pure chaos. 10,000 go in, they have a bed for a couple of hours to rest, and then 10,000 more need to come in. I've never seen anything like it, but seeing the babies, this one mother, again, I will never forget her as long as I live. She had a rope tied around her waist with 4 little girls, probably under the age of 5, wrapped around it because there are risk of traffickers. And she didn't want to fall asleep with her children there. It is a very unsafe place. We do have teams working there. The border guards were some of the most incredible people I met, but some of them haven't slept because they wanted to stay awake to protect these children.
Wow. And that, I mean, there's so many layers there. The border guard you just mentioned, the discernment that is needed for them. And something you said a number of times here, and you said it in a video, and we had a pre-call where we talked about this event, and you said it was unlike anything you've ever seen before. And this is not new. This work is not new to you, helping. And so, you know, you described some of it, but I just want to give you a chance again to sort of, you know, juxtapose the what was already happening before the invasion to what you're seeing now.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually pretty incredible because a lot of our Ukrainian Orphans Promise staff felt called by God to move to Poland, particularly the border of Poland, a couple of years ago. I'm talking 5-7 years ago. And when they felt called, they didn't understand why. And whenever they prayed, all of them got the same feeling and the same words. If you knew, you wouldn't be able to bear it. And so God had prepared our staff from Ukraine into Poland ahead of time. Bear in mind, these are Ukrainian speaking, trauma informed, excellent staff that are all there now, ready to receive refugees, ready to set up training centres, as Terry was saying, ready to work with children on a psychological level, trauma level, able to share the gospel with them and set up our schools of life. So God really did go before us. That is the biggest miracle in all of this. As Terry was saying, he has gone before. He has set them up logistically, practically, spiritually to receive these refugees. And that's not just Poland. That is also Hungary, Romania, Moldova. And to see it is absolutely incredible. But as I was saying earlier about the trafficking, That is the biggest prayer request, really, at the moment. We heard reports on the ground this week regarding traffickers pretending to be pastors and turning up with minibuses and coaches. Some of the border guards said there are traffickers here, but how do we know? There's thousands of people, floods of people. Who do we mark as a bad person or someone who has good intentions and wants to take these people to another country? So it's very, very difficult. And that is one of my biggest prayer requests, that we can just cover, ask that this evil would be exposed for what it is, that children would be spared.